they're not going to be anymore. They're going to scrap them. We got to save this one, at least one car. That's wonderful. The car that you're riding in is Boston Elevated Railway 5821. This car was built in 1924. Boston Elevated is the precursor to today's MBTA. And you'll notice the car is not very comfortable. The seats are plain wooden seats. The windows don't open all the way, and it's a bare bones car to get you from point A to point B. This car never ran in the underground. This car was on surface lines only. Tickets, please. Yeah.
That's just sits there.
That just sits there. You can't go any further, there's no crack.
Oh. That would run, no.
That's the Bitterford siding. That actually goes back to Bitterford along Route 1.
Is it?
Yeah. That's the original right of way for the Atlantic Trolley.
Okay. Yeah. You had Buckingham Rock.
Campaign to restore. We have a campaign going to restore.
Oh, that way back. Go back.
Welcome to Talbot Park. You have traveled 1.5 miles along a portion of what was once the Atlantic shoreline, the largest railway to serve southern Maine. This portion of the line ran from Townhouse Square in Kennebunkport up to Biddeford, and it also served Cape Porpoise from 1904 to 1927. Where you see the orange line tower, that is the original right-of-way back to Biddeford. We own that right-of-way, and it goes back to Biddeford along Route 1. We are 82 years old this year, 83 years old, I should say.
No good.
Founded in 1939 with the intention of saving one car. That one car is car 31 of the Biddeford and Saco Railway. It is a 12-bench open-type car in our Highwood barn on track 1. In 1939, the Biddeford and Saco Railway were going to go to buses. There'd be no more trolleys. Trolleys that weren't needed were stacked, one on top of another, and burnt for the scrap metal. In 1939, it was $300 a ton and rising. Our founding fathers, Ted Santarelli and his associates, took that last ride. The Biddeford and Saco was their favorite line in Maine. They're not going to be anymore. They're going to scrap them. We've got to save this one, at least one car. They were able to obtain car 31 for a very expensive price. Remember, this is 1939. $150. The second car to be acquired in 1940 was Manchester Street Railway car number 38, built by Laconia Car Company in 1906. It ran between Manchester, Derry, and Duff Falls. And it is the last car to cross the Merrimack River under its own power in 1940. It's in our South Boston barn on track number 1. Now, as I mentioned, you've traveled 1.5 miles and you've come to Talbot Park. Talbot Park is our recreation of what an early trolley park looked like in 1900. Nothing fancy, just a gazebo, maybe some plantings. But it was someplace for you to go to escape the heat and the smell of the city. You came perhaps on an open car. The open cars were known as breezers because as you rode along, you got this nice breeze, nature's air conditioning. You don't have air conditioning in 1900, so you took the breezer. You came out here with the family and had a picnic, played croquet on the lawn, and wonderful time. Over time, people got that, been there, done that, it's boring t-shirt. The trolley company said, aha, let's put some colored lights up here. Let's put a Ferris wheel there. You know the adage, if you build it, they will come. They did. Droves. There were some 2,000 trolley parks in this country at one time. Canterbury Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire is one such place, built by Lowell, Lawrence, and Amesbury Street Railway. And I'm not here. If that's my wife, I'm not here. If that's my husband, I'm busy. So, if you let's say you wanted to go to Canterbury Lake and you took the trolley, there was no additional fare because you'd already paid your nickel to get in. But you live down the street. Why ride the trolley? I can walk. Now you have to pay 10 cents to get into the park because you're not riding the company car. This car that's come up is Eastern Mass Street Railway 4387, built by Laconia Car Company in 1918. It ran in Malden on the Fellsway. It ran in Lynn, in Lowell, and in Lawrence. And also connected, as you see the roll sign, with the elevator. I have to make a call. Now that the green panel has covered up the do not enter sign, that doesn't necessarily give us permission. I have to call the dispatcher and say, I've got a green board. I want permission to come back. The dispatcher will say yes, because that indicates the line is now clear.
If you Google the Saco Low Company, you can see an interesting story about the history of that company.
Gobble, gobble, no extra charge for the wildlife.
Let's see what it does.
We've seen moose up here, we've seen bears, all kinds of things.
There it goes.
There it goes.
This is Reserves Crossing. Reserves Crossing is a right-of-way through someone's property. Once again, the Atlantic shoreline came through here in 1904 and took a portion of Falmouth Reserve's property by eminent domain. This was dairy land. There would have been cows grazing on both sides of the track. The Atlantic shoreline took the property by eminent domain in exchange for $1 and other considerations. The other consideration being, where the reserve sign is now is the original level crossing that the Atlantic shoreline put in so that Mr. Reserve could get his cattle from one end of the field to the other end of the field. Cattle don't like crossing railroad tracks. There were no benches, there was no platform. We put that in. Today, this field, this property is owned by the Wentworth family. Their children have inherited the rights of a flagstop. They, if they so choose, can come down, flag down a trolley, take a ride to Talbot Park, go to the store, get a free ice cream, and a free ride back to their property.